Hello and welcome to Real Ball Talk episode 5. Today, it's me, it's Trey Bear, it's Brett Ashley, and special guest John Watt. John, say hello.
Hello. Happy to be here.
Nice. And today we're going to be talking some college football for you. So, Trey, why don't you get it going?
I've been really looking forward to this topic, and I'm looking forward to saying our top 25s for the pod. So I'll just go ahead and start out with my preseason number 1 team, and that is going to be the reigning champs, the LSU Tigers.
You're a nutcase.
That's just a biased statement, Trey.
It's biased.
I can understand why people would feel that way, but I'm a big believer in to be the man, you got to beat the man. I'm a big believer in that saying by former WWE wrestler Ric Flair. So, big believer in it.
Really?
You know what?
LSU number 1?
LSU number 1, baby.
Go ahead, John.
You got
Go
all
on.
of their offensive players, at least one offensive player from each position getting drafted. Plus Dave Aranda's, he's at Baylor?
Yeah, he's at Baylor, and then Brady's.
And Brady's at Carolina.
No, I get all that. Like, they're all gone. We lost a lot, and I get that. But looking on the other side, I think Bama lost just as much, maybe, if not. I mean, probably not more, but likely just as much. Maybe not from the coaching staff, but I think LSU is still returning a lot of studs. Got Jamar Chase, and believe it or not, I think Miles Brennan is going to prove a lot of people wrong this year, like Joe did this past year. And I like our secondary, Kerry Vincent, Jacoby Stevens, Derek Stingley. I really like, and Mo Hampton. I really like what we've got on both sides of the ball.
We got Bama. Bama's returning Najee. Let's see. Who else? Receiver?
Devontae Smith.
Devontae Smith, Jalen Waddle.
Jalen Waddle.
Dylan Moses.
Trey, you know who's not losing a lot of players?
Clemson.
But are also Clemson and Ohio State, yeah.
Ohio State lost a lot.
Ohio State did lose a little bit.
They returned Justin Fields.
Yeah, but
Ryan Day's a great coach.
I'm going to be honest with you,
they
Webb.
lost almost all their secondary.
Justin Fields may have only thrown 2 interceptions, but I'm not a big believer in Justin Fields yet. I think Trevor Lawrence – I think Clemson's a shoo-in. I think Clemson go 0-12, and they still deserve to be in the college football playoffs.
Well, that's not really how it works.
Not really. You kind of need a winning record.
Yeah,
to
I'm
make a bowl
joking
game.
there. I'm joking there. Ohio State's has more to prove to me, but I still think it's a unanimous Clemson 1, Ohio State 2 for everyone's preseason.
No,
Yeah,
so
that's what I just
I
said. I don't know why.
I definitely think by the end
my
of the
dad.
year, I definitely think by the end of the year that Clemson is going to be the top dog solely because they're in the ACC. And the ACC 5 years ago was an amazing conference and it was really competitive, but recently it's been down. And
they only lost Justin Ross.
They do return Justin Ross.
No, they lost.
No, they lost
No,
T.
they-
Higgins.
They
Lost
returned
to
Ross.
Higgins.
They lost Higgins.
That's
Higgins,
about
that's
it.
right.
And
But
Isaiah
also,
Simmons.
Travis Etienne. You got Trevor Lawrence. You got an incredible O-line. I can't name them specifically, but they seem to do the job.
Also lost Simmons.
Yeah, Isaiah Simmons.
Probably the best the best linebacker in the draft.
I'd
And
argue
then,
the next Cam Chancellor. There's my one hot take, guys.
Wow.
That's a statement.
But yeah, I agree. Clemson is loaded, but this is just if I'm an AP voter, this is my top 25, and for me, for LSU to not be number 1, somebody has got to show me that even though last year's year, somebody's got to show me that they can beat them, and
You got to just leave it the way it finished.
and even though that Joe Brady's gone, I feel like Miles Brennan is still going to apply everything he learned from him and Joe Burrow to his game. And for him, at least, I think the offense is going to be about the same. And I
You think
think
the offense is going to be the same?
All right,
about the
Trey.
same.
Trey.
The scheme.
Let's be realistic
The scheme, not
scheme. Okay.
yeah. The
Probably
offensive
not
scheme.
reproducing the same
Okay.
stats.
Right.
Those were incredible stats.
So you're big on the fact that you predicted Joe Burrow,
I'm
and
big
that's
on
an
that.
okay thing.
Called
But you
it January 1st, 2019.
You can't expect Miles Brennan just to be good because you say so. Joe Burrow was a fifth-year senior last year who had learned things behind J.T. Barrett, Dwayne Haskins, and then he got Joe Brady. Miles Brennan has none of those.
Well, he
And
had
also-
Joe Brady, and like I said earlier, I think he's going to apply what he learned from him and Joe to his game.
Yeah, he's also from St. Stanislaus, Mississippi, so he's got that going for him. That's a big plus there.
You
in my
know,
book.
I just think we too many people are turning their back on this guy when I don't think there's any reason to. I think this guy's going to be a solid player.
Is he a
See,
sophomore or
the one
junior?
thing about LSU next year is I'm nervous for Jamar Chase. As I told y'all, Jamar Chase is my favorite receiver I've seen in a very, very long time. Because the absence of Joe Burrow and the inclusion of Miles Brennan really make his stats take a hit.
Maybe statistically they take a hit, but I think the scouts, whether or not the dude blows up for 20 touchdowns again or not, I think the scouts know his tools and know what he's capable of and think regardless of the numbers, this guy is going to be a top 10 pick next year. So
Okay,
let's
I got a
talk
question.
about
Who do you think is going to be the number 1 overall pick next year? Assuming that every junior becomes draft eligible and decides to enter the draft.
Trevor Lawrence.
Trevor Lawrence.
John
Yeah.
Rice Plumlee from Ole Miss.
He's going to be a sophomore. Right, good try.
That's the point.
Good try.
Worth a shot.
I think
What's
it's a unanimous.
I mean, it
Trevor-
depends on what team gets the pick, obviously. But if it's, if
I don't
a
know
team
how
needs
you
a
can
quarterback,
pass up.
well,
Trevor Lawrence.
if a team needs a quarterback, obviously Trevor Lawrence. But let's say it's a team that thinks
Well,
they have the quarterback of the future already.
so after all the quarterback selections this year, what team would you say right now needs a quarterback?
Okay. The Bears.
The Bears.
Yeah, the Bears. That's a good start.
I feel like the Jaguars need a quarterback pretty badly. I mean, Minshew, you can go with Minshew, but I mean, I feel like not a lot of people believe in him yet.
I don't think it's like their top team need though. I think you can make a serious case for the Bears that quarterback is like a top team need right now.
What
You
are
got to
other
see if these
teams?
rookie quarterbacks prove themselves in their second year, or else you got teams like New York, as you said, Jacksonville, other New York.
Also, low key, the Rams. Jared Goff.
I was going to say that. I was
That
kinda
guy had a
nervous.
really quick rise and fall.
Well, he's had. Well, let's not call it a fall yet. Maybe he has a down year and he bounces back this year. I think that's a little harsh.
You're
If
right,
I do
Webb.
say so myself.
You're right, Webb.
Always
One
quick to
team-
judgment, Trey. Always
So-
so quick to judgment, Trey.
So my top
Right, you're
three, my top three is LSU, Clemson, Ohio State. Let's go across the board. Everybody, just list off your top three real quick.
All right, I'll go. Clemson is 1. Ohio State is 2. And I'm about to really piss off Trey. Alabama is 3.
It
I
doesn't
concur with
doesn't make
Webb.
me mad.
I concur with Webb.
I've been reading
I concur
all
with
all
Webb as
this all this everywhere, and just
I've got LSU pretty low by your standards.
well, how low? How low are we talking?
We're talking top 10,
Come on,
but
now.
we're talking below 5.
That's
I'd
ridiculous.
say around 7 or 8.
So okay,
Whoa.
okay.
I got him at 7. I got him at 7.
Oh, I had him at
Come on
4.
now.
I mean, Trey's right. You got to respect him some, but like,
These are
I
just
think
the
to
teams
start
that-
out,
I'm just-
leave them at number 1, but I think logically, after like 5 weeks, they're going to be top 10.
I'm just ranking the teams based on who I think are the best teams. I don't care about what they should or shouldn't be based on what they did last year. I'm talking next year. These are the teams I think will be the best in this order. Boom, there you go.
that's a fair statement. Fair statement all around the board. I definitely do not think LSU is going to breeze through the SEC.
No,
like they
absolutely
did
not.
last year.
I think the SEC is going to be really competitive this year. I think LSU, Alabama, Florida, Georgia, Auburn are all going to be right there, and
All right there.
they all have a shot at winning it and looking for a bid to the college football playoffs. And So I have Alabama at 4. I have Florida at 5 and Georgia at 6. Back to back to back.
I put Georgia at 5 just because I think Florida's definitely going to be better this year. But you're going to have to go back to the fact that if you believe that LSU will start out as 1, I feel like Georgia's going to start out higher than Florida will, just because of last season.
Yeah, for sure, Georgia has dominated the SEC East in the past couple of years, but are y'all bought into Jamie Newman and what he's going to do there?
No.
Yeah, I'm not either.
Know.
I'm
He's
not
got
either
the build.
yet.
He's got the build. He's got all of the capabilities. They just need to be developed.
Justin Fields struggled a little bit at Georgia, so I find a hard time believing that this guy is going to do better than Justin Fields.
Because Jamie Newman, I feel like he's definitely not a pocket passer like Jake Fromm was, and so I don't think they're going to click on all cylinders over there.
I hate to say it, but he's my sleeper.
Jamie Newman?
Yeah.
For what,
I think
Heisman?
he's really good. I don't know. I think Heisman's going to probably get either Trevor Lawrence or Justin Fields.
I don't think an SEC quarterback is going to win the Heisman this year.
Yeah, I think later on, a couple years down the road, I think, maybe Bo Nix has
Bo
a shot
Nix,
at it.
I like Bo Nix. That guy makes plays.
I also like Bo Nix.
Yeah,
Trey,
so
you
where
like Bo Nix?
I don't like Bo Nix.
well, the guy beat Alabama last year. So, I mean, Brett's not going to be about that. So, speaking of that, I have Auburn at number 10. Where do y'all have Auburn in the
11.
top 25?
I've got him at 14.
Okay, so we're all pretty close.
Fair.
Yeah, we're all pretty close.
They may have went 9-4 last year, but I definitely think they were better than that.
Yeah, no, for sure.
They had some really close games.
That defensive line was insane, and that's my only concern for Auburn this year is they lost so much in the pass rush and on the D line.
Derek Brown, Marlon Davidson.
They also lost
lot of
Igbenogany or whatever. that guy is.
Igbenogany. Yeah.
Noah Igbenogany, and then
Did they lose Whitlow, their running back?
no,
He's back. Oh, he transferred.
So they do lose.
Well, to be determined where he goes. He can always come back, but he hasn't decided where he's going yet.
Oh, I see.
No, go ahead, Webb.
I was gonna. No, I wasn't even like. I was gonna say if he's transferring, then obviously he feels there's a better running back than him.
Or he just doesn't like the coach.
So running back might not be an issue. I don't know.
Yeah, I know they had that. I can't remember his name, but I saw him in the Iron Bowl, and he was pretty good.
Who, the backup to Hootie Whitlow?
Yeah, what was his name?
Yeah, I don't remember either.
But he didn't look bad.
But
you just have more of a running quarterback with Bo Nix, and that kind of impedes on his ability to produce yards. So
I think going into last year, it didn't really make sense to me, but a lot of people wanted Gus out of Auburn, and for me last year, Bo Nix and Auburn beating Alabama kind of saved Gus, gave him some assurance, and it's bizarre to me that Gus has to fight his way to keep his job every single year. I think the guy has built a great program, and he's a really good recruiter, and so
I think now this is gonna be my super duper hot take, but I think Gus Malzahn is finally has the quarterback he has been looking for the past 10 years.
Well, I mean,
their chemistry, his abilities. I feel like since Cam Newton.
Gus wasn't the head coach at Auburn when Cam Newton was there.
Yeah, was it Gene something?
It was Gene Chizik, but Gus Malzahn was offensive coordinator.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I think Bo Nix and Gus Malzahn together are going to do a lot of damage to everyone.
I agree for sure. Real quick, so this is kind of my more dark horse team that I have in the top 10. I have the Minnesota Golden Gophers at number 9.
I like that. I got them at 11.
I got them at 10.
Wow, all really close. I'm just a big fan of PJ Fleck. That dude brings a lot of energy and enthusiasm to a
program. They
program.
returning that quarterback. What was his name? Tanner
Morgan.
Yeah,
And they got Rashad Bateman at receiver.
Underrated.
I also agree with that. Two teams I got in the top 10 that I hate that I have in the top 10 only because they had success last year are Oklahoma and Oregon. I feel like they will both fall.
I'm the same way,
Greatly.
Brett. I feel like I have to put them in the top 10, but I agree with you. I don't think they're going to finish there.
Well, I think as long as Lincoln Riley is the head coach at Oklahoma, they'll finish top 10 every single season.
I think y'all got to wake up. Spencer Rattler is incredible.
Exactly. He's
I don't know,
monster.
man. I'm not bought into the Spencer Rattler hype yet.
I've seen some stuff, and he's pretty good, but I don't know if they'll maintain a top 10. I'm not saying they're going to fall out of the rankings. or anything,
The only
but
problem is there's really only one team in the Big 12 that can beat them, in my opinion, and it's Oklahoma State.
Whoa.
I agree.
Yeah, I think Oklahoma State's the best chance.
Chuba Hubbard is insane, man.
And they returned their
Oh, man,
quarterback.
Chuba.
He's
Tyler
a
Ball's
dog.
coming back.
And
Texas, Kansas State.
I mean, I don't see Oklahoma losing 2 games, and they're not going to fall out of the top 10 if they have 1 loss.
yeah,
True.
maybe.
I don't see
I
Oregon,
just don't see Oklahoma being like a dominant team this year.
Oklahoma.
I mean,
I think
they may not
Oregon-
be, but they don't need to be in the Big 12, really.
That's unfortunate
Yeah.
to hear.
But I heard y'all bring up
but it's
Oregon.
true.
I think Oregon is easily the most overrated team. Almost
I
every year.
agree without last year they dropped that super random game. It was at Arizona State,
Yeah, they
and
got
that was like the coming out
Yeah.
party for Jaden Daniels.
Boom! I like Jaden Daniels.
I know we've talked about this. So Webb, give us your take on Arizona State. Tell us what Herm Edwards is going to do this year.
So, I'm very high on Arizona State this year. I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna give it to you straight.
Where you
We've
have
won-
him in the rankings?
In the rankings, I've got him at 19.
I'm at 20.
But
I'm at 20.
wow,
We're
look at us go.
Ball.
We're best friends.
I
We
know.
did this. We did
think-
this.
I think the Pac-12 is pretty much up for grabs this year.
For
Pac-12. My friend, my colleague here, Trey Abear.
I'm going to go ahead and say it. I'm going to go ahead and
hold
say
on.
it.
Let me say it before you.
All right.
He has the worst take I've maybe ever heard. So,
All right, I'm
brace yourselves.
going to go ahead and say
Predictable
it.
Washington.
I'm going to go ahead and say it. Nope. Utah Utes, undefeated
God,
regular
you're an
season.
idiot.
Undefeated regular season. These guys, if they beat Oklahoma, will be in the college football playoffs. The Pac-12 is down this year, and Utah, their schedule is. I feel like they have a very, very good chance at a perfect regular season.
That was the worst thing I ever heard in my entire life.
I almost
Um,
threw up.
I think there's 3 teams in the Pac-12 that are better than Utah.
Okay, well, before you say
2
that,
in their own division.
no,
For
no, you're
Yes,
telling me Cal is better than Utah.
Okay, that's
Dude.
not the team in their division, but I think Cal's the best team in the Pac-12.
Cal's defense?
Ooh.
That's crazy.
I'm just saying-
That's
I'm just
crazy,
saying-
man.
They're a sleeper team to watch out for. You watch out for Chase Garbers and this California Golden Bears team because they're going to win 10 games. And you're going to be
Oh my
you're going to
goodness.
be regretting everything you said.
Wow,
See, because
that's-
that showed
wow,
the
that's
level of talent
ins-
Cal
that's
got,
insane.
because We almost beat them.
Okay,
Yeah,
saying-
Ole Miss took them to the wire last year, and Ole Miss
All
won
I'm saying
4
is-
ball
all
games.
All I'm saying is, saying Cal's going to win 10 games isn't as crazy as Utah winning all 12.
It's about the
Utah-
same.
That's just
Okay,
not
okay,
true.
it's not.
I'd
Utah-
lean more
Utah-
towards Utah. I
Utah
think it's
loses.
capable.
Utah loses their starting quarterback, their starting running back, their 2 best defensive players. Yeah, Jake Bentley's a good quarterback, but I mean, he got kicked out of South Carolina by Helensi. I mean,
Not really.
I mean, really, he got hurt and then he got replaced, and he couldn't win the starting job back. Obviously, that's why he left.
Okay,
Like,
so
leave.
Cal's. I'm looking at Cal's schedule right now. Their out of conference is really manageable. It's UNLV, TCU, Cal Poly.
That sounds like 3 W's to me.
Yeah, it probably is. But do you think? I mean, for me, they lose to Utah, Oregon, and Arizona State.
I think they can beat all those teams. They can also lose to them, but I think they can also beat them. Last year, when Chase Garbers was healthy, they didn't lose a game.
Yeah, he did get injured.
When they lost 2 games he played in, and that's because he was injured at some point in the game didn't play for the majority of the game. When he played, they won.
Remember, he got hurt in either the end of the first half or the beginning of the second half against us. And
Yeah.
Dolphins slowed down. I'll give you that.
And
Utah-
then
He's a
John
good
Rice
quarterback.
came in.
Utah has got BYU at home, Montana State at home, and then
Watch out for that game.
at Wyoming.
Don't sleep on the Grizz.
So 3-0
It's actually the
there.
Bobcats. Montana State is the Bobcats. They're in Bozeman, Montana.
Oh, my bad.
It's okay. Just don't get it wrong again, please.
You vacation there?
Hmm?
You vacation in Montana?
We do. We
Oh, I didn't know
we go to Bozeman, Montana.
Web dabbles from time to time.
But that's my private life, and the viewers shouldn't be knowing that. That's really private. So pretend you didn't hear that.
But anyway, Utah State has a chance to finish the regular season 12-0, in my opinion. Dark horse
Well,
to the college football playoffs.
Trey, I can't wait for him to win that bet and make money because that's a terrible take. And,
Well, what was the bet? I don't remember.
I think it was $10, and
Do we condone gambling?
I'm willing.
Oh
to
yeah,
$20.
yeah. I said $10. They go 12-0.
And I'm willing to make that like $100. I mean, that's almost a guaranteed no. Like I'm 99% sure. You don't even think they're gonna lose one game all year?
They might lose to Oregon in the conference championship, but I think they'll go 12-0 in the regular season.
My thing is I can name 4 better teams than Utah.
In the Pac-12.
In the Pac-12.
Not in the Pac-12, but just in general.
Oh well, yeah, no, for
You
sure.
can
But
only name
unfortunately,
4 better teams than Utah. I can name 21 better teams than Utah.
Okay,
Snubs.
so I have them at.
Like, don't be surprised if that happens.
I'm at 16 in my rankings right
That's
now.
just blasphemous.
I've got them at 22. I like
What?
them.
I have them at 22. It's just easy. It's just an easy pick. They're not that good, Trey.
It's not about being dominant in the college football game. It's about the conference that you're faced with year by year, and what they're faced with this year is manageable, and they can do it.
I know that. I'm not saying that. I know they can do it, but I also know that they're not going to do it because I think there's teams that are better than them.
Mm-hmm.
That's not the argument I'm making here. So don't put words in my mouth, sir.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't put words in your mouth.
Oh, you put words in my mouth.
I was making a conclusion.
You were putting entire phrases in my mouth, son.
Webb,
What's up?
you said that you like 2 teams in the Pac-12 South that were better than Utah. What was the second one?
Oh, I like Arizona State and USC.
That's
I think
okay.
I think USC is going to have a better year because Clay Helton is going to get fired.
Yeah, he is so gone.
And Caden Slovis is good. They return Amon-Ra St. Brown. They return Brew McCoy. I mean, and they get enough talent to where if he can do something with them, they could be pretty good.
That
Daniels is going to go. Talking about USC.
dude, I think he's so overrated.
I mean, I don't think Jaden Daniels is really.
No, JT.
Oh,
JT.
I thought he said.
I
I thought he said Jaden Daniels. My bad.
I don't think he's as good as. I don't know if he's. I don't know why he's a 5-star from what I saw last year.
What
Not
if he went?
impressed.
What if he went to UCLA and then we saw the return of the UCLA USC classic rivalry there?
Man, he's still got USC tatted on him.
Oh, he does. That's embarrassing for him. That's really embarrassing. Imagine you think you're like the starting quarterback. You think you're going to be a legend, and then you're like, hey, you're on the bench now, and you got a tattoo already. That would
Who
be
was
suck.
the Alabama linebacker a few years ago that had the Auburn tattoo?
Oh, was
Oh,
that
yeah.
I think it was
Reggie Ragland?
Reggie
maybe?
Ragland
Yeah, I think it was Big Reg.
because he went to. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, and then on commitment day he was like, "So I'm going to Alabama,"
That's wild.
and all his friends were like, "What?"
Just crickets.
I mean, that man was a beast, though. Still is.
All right, so let's run through everybody's top 10 real quick now that all this has been said. So I've got LSU, Clemson, Ohio State, Alabama, Florida, Georgia, Oklahoma, Oregon, Minnesota, Auburn.
I agree with
Okay.
that. Maybe mix it around in a different way, but seems logical.
Well, I've got Clemson 1, then Ohio State, Alabama, LSU, Georgia, Oklahoma, Oregon, Florida, Penn State. I don't really know why I put them there, but it is what it is. Then Minnesota 10, Auburn first team out.
Okay.
Okay, I will go now. Clemson,
Yep.
Ohio State, Alabama, Oklahoma,
Ooh.
Florida, LSU,
There they are.
Ouch.
Oregon, Georgia, Notre Dame, And
God.
here's my super team. You're gonna want to watch out for this one. North Carolina at 10.
Okay, I got him. I'm
Jesus
glad you
Christ.
like.
Mac Brown.
Yeah, I like Mac Brown. I have North Carolina at 15. I just think they can succeed in the ACC. I can see them maybe winning 10 games this year, but Webb, Notre Dame in the top 10. Come on, man.
Look.
Kenny Bryson's happy. That's good.
Look, understand me here, Trey. Ian Book is coming back.
Oh no.
But also, I think that's
No.
that one's more like I think Notre Dame will be in that vicinity, in that area when they get ranked. They'll be in the 9 through 13 area because that's where they always are.
Well, they're not in the conference.
Let's pull up the schedule.
No, I'm not arguing like, oh, here's why they should be here. That's just a pick where I was thinking like, hey, I wouldn't be surprised if they were number 9 through 13. I just put them at 9 because I think they're better than my teams in that area.
I think that's possible. I mean, I'm just saying.
Oh my God, their
They are in the
schedule is
They're just
not.
one of those teams that they're always around top 10, top 15.
That's what
Webb,
exactly.
their schedule's not easy, dude. The out of conference is easy. It's
Hey, Trey.
They don't have
Trey?
a conference.
Hey, Trey.
I mean that was stupid.
Hey, Trey. Trey.
Hey Webb.
This is my preseason top 25.
No, I hear
schedule.
you, dude. But
Doesn't matter.
they play Wisconsin, Clemson, and USC.
No. I understand, but this is preseason.
I see them only losing in Clemson.
I'm not doing my week 5.
They'll lose to
5 right now.
Wisconsin.
I don't know.
They'll lose to
Wisconsin's losing a lot.
Wisconsin.
Wisconsin's losing a lot.
They lost
They
Jonathan
play.
Taylor.
They play
Tyler,
Wisconsin. They play
a lot of
Wisconsin
others.
at Lambeau Field. They're toast.
Wisconsin's not going to win their division.
Who's gonna?
That's true.
Minnesota's going to win.
Minnesota's going to win.
It's gonna be close. I don't feel like that's a shoe-in.
Oh, it's a shoe-in. It's
I mean,
a shoe-in.
Minnesota got super hot last year, and Wisconsin still won the division.
But guess what? Guess who returns a lot more players than Wisconsin?
I mean,
lot more
not a
players.
lot more. Who does Wisconsin lose besides Jonathan Taylor and Zach Bond?
I
Their
mean, Jonathan
quarterback.
Taylor arguably.
Jack
lineman.
Cohen. Jack Cohen.
You got that offensive guard or offensive tackle. I forgot how you. what's
Tyler
his name?
Biadasz.
Yeah, Bias or something.
But boom.
They play Arkansas. Okay, is Arkansas
might
is-
go undefeated this year.
is Arkansas gonna at least improve?
No,
I think they
hope
might.
so.
Luke Franks is so bad.
What did
I
they
feel
might
so
go,
bad for
they
him.
might, they might go from what did they go 2-10 last year?
Jesus.
Yeah,
Yeah.
They might.
They
They,
they
might,
got
go
beat
3-9.
by they got
They-
beat by
exactly.
North Texas by 40.
they might go 3-9 this year though.
It's honestly a toss-up on how the other trash teams in the SEC do, i.e. Missouri,
Vanderbilt.
Vanderbilt, State,
Be careful.
South Carolina.
Don't
Very,
go.
very
there.
careful.
Okay, let's
That
talk
was,
about
that was it.
Okay.
let's talk about the Mississippi State Bulldogs for a second.
Ooh.
John Watt is
Your friend.
he's the manager for the Ole Miss football team. So let's hear an inside scoop of how we think the air raid is gonna fit in Starkville.
Start Vegas.
Well, y'all got KJ Costello coming in to Starkville. He's a hell of a quarterback, transferring as a graduate to State from Stanford. He did great at Stanford. I'll give him that. I will say he did have Bryce Love, but he's having Colin Hill, so
Yeah.
maybe that's good for him. He's got Osiris
Mitchell.
Mitchell. Is his
Yeah,
name?
Osiris
Yeah.
Mitchell.
Mississippi State's got an above average O line. I'll give them that. They have some good O linemen. They've got a young D line. They got good receivers, a great running back, but they lost a lot of secondary guys. And I don't think KJ Costello and the air raid offense, or Will Rogers in the air raid offense,
Yeah.
is
So
going to be able to.
who do you
make
think
up.
who do you think game 1 wins the job? Costello or Will Rogers?
KJ Costello.
I think week 1 you're probably right, but I think eventually, like Will Rogers is more of an air raid type QB in my opinion.
I think you got to go experience.
I mean, you just have to look at it. Who can perform under the cowbells? That's
I
simple.
mean, think about it. So you got Kelly Bryant. You got Kelly Bryant starting at Clemson, and they get Trevor Lawrence. They still keep Kelly Bryant for 3 or 4 games, right?
Yeah.
And then Trevor Lawrence comes in, and the rest is history. You got to go with age.
Yeah, you're probably right. But I like Will Rogers. I think he's going to be a good quarterback at Mississippi State, but I just don't see Mississippi State being able to function with an offense that airs it out, 40-plus times a game. I just can't see that in Starkville, Mississippi.
Well, I think as long as Dak Prescott's firing on all cylinders, there's no reason this team can't win 10 games.
Well, let's talk about Dakota Prescott real quick.
8-0, we believe.
What? Someone needs to teach me and tell me why Dak Prescott deserves $32 million a year to play quarterback in the NFL.
I don't think Jerry Jones thinks he does. Because I don't think he's going to get it.
I think that's the whole holdout portion of the.
Yeah, he can hold out, but
it's that or nothing.
I mean, he can hold out, but he's just going to get Wally pipped by Andy Dalton if he does that.
Now, do y'all think Andy Dalton's going to flourish in a brand new system?
I think Andy Dalton's kind
the opportunity to play.
Honestly, probably. I think Andy Dalton's a little overlooked just because he played in Cincinnati for so long. But, I mean, I don't think he's going to tear it up and be a top 5
and he's
quarterback.
a ginger.
I see a lot of myself in Andy Dalton. I see him kind of like a younger me, and a lot of similarities there. Very tall, very, very strong arms. But no, he's a pretty good quarterback. He's a great quarterback to have if Dak falls through. Yeah, exactly.
All right, so back to college football. So
back to the business.
Yeah, we were talking about North Carolina, and I like him.
I like North Carolina.
I like him at 15. I think they can do some damage in the ACC. But let's talk about some group of 5 teams that maybe made y'all's ranking. So I have Boise State at 17, Memphis at 22, UCF at 23, and Cincinnati at 24.
I'll say don't sleep on Memphis. They got a hell of a defensive coordinator coming in.
Kenneth Gainwell's really good.
At Ole Miss last year, and I think he's going to do an incredible job. You also got UCF. Now, UCF lost Jeff Lebby, who's now our offensive coordinator and passing game coordinator. He's the guy that made UCF what it was.
That is a shot directly at Scott Frost.
Scott Frost is a hot take. Scott Frost is not going to make it out of Nebraska alive this year.
I mean, well, do we know if it's his fault they've been bad, or has Nebraska just had no talent?
This past year it was. This past year,
you better find talent.
Yeah, this past year it was his recruits. I mean, when he got there, it wasn't, but this past year, it was his recruits, and this year it's really his recruits. So if they really struggle again, hasta la vista.
That'd be a bummer for Scotty.
I got Boise State at 18, Memphis at 21. UCF not in the top 25. Oh. This is where the downfall happened. They had the 12-0 season, and everyone's like, UCF unanimous national champs. They're out of there. It's over for UCF. I couldn't agree with John more.
No, Brett is an Alabama fan. If you sense any hatred in his voice for UCF, that's where that's coming from. I also don't have UCF in there either, but I just don't have a lot of good 5 teams in general. I've got Boise State at 24, and I've got Cincinnati at 21, and that's really, honestly, that Cincinnati pick is kind of interchangeable with Memphis. I think they're both really good. So,
so I already said the teams that were in my top 25, but I feel like Appalachian State is right there. They run the table. They run the table in the Sun Belt
every year.
I don't understand it.
And I like App State, and I think by the end of the year they're definitely going to be in the top 25. Definitely going to be Pac-12 champs. I mean, not Pac-12, Sun Belt champs again.
4 years ago, Appalachian State was in the football championship subdivision, and now they're just going 12-0 every single year in the Sun Belt.
Yeah,
That is
they
a-
run the table in the Sun Belt.
They run the table. There's no threat. That is easily hot take here. They're the worst conference in college football. If you
Take that
take,
back.
I mean, if you take Appalachian State out, I don't know. I mean,
I don't know, dude. Louisiana Raging Cajuns went 11-3 last
Brett,
year.
let's hear what Brett has to say about. Wait for it. Maction.
Maction is honestly the most competitive conference in the NCAA at this point. I mean, you got teams like Miami, Ohio, and Kent State all in one side of a conference. I mean, it's just
It's a dog fight.
powerhouses all across the board.
It's a dog fight.
This is a pretty hard conference to predict. But this year in the Maction Championship, I got Ohio playing Western Michigan.
You mean Miami?
No, the Ohio Bobcats.
Oh my.
Ooh.
And the Ohio Bobcats are going to win
Wow.
their first MAC championship ever.
I've got
Hot
Ohio.
take.
Wait.
I've got Ohio at 4th in the East.
Dude,
What
it's
are-
their
lose?
year.
They lose Nathan Rourke. What are you? What
It's
are you
their
on?
year. It's
What
their
on-
what are the
What are you
odds?
on meth? You on
What,
meth?
what are the odds that Big Cat goes to that game?
99%.
Yeah, 99%.
What if we go to the MAC championship?
I'd be all for it.
You're the best day of my life, probably.
Now let's just address the weakest link in the MAC. The Zips, man. The Zips. They went 0-12 last year. I mean, do we get them out of the MAC?
Do we get him?
Come
Do we
back
get him
to
out of
12-0.
the? Well, here's the real question: do we get him out of the FBS? Do we kick him?
Do we move North Dakota State up?
It's about time.
You know, because there's another Ohio conference, the Ohio Valley Conference in the FCS, that I think. Never mind, Akron, pretty solid school. I'm not sure. You know, who knows?
Yeah, every team has a bad year. I mean, you can say UCF went 0-12 one year, and then they went 12-0. Was it the next year or the year after that?
2 years after that.
So I mean, you really never know what's going to happen in this side of society. But
Yeah, and like
Maction-
it was like what 1839. I think Navy went 0-12, and then by 1858 they were winning national championships. You never know.
I mean, it's only a matter of time. Just got to get the recruits in, and then you'll be playing ball games. That simple.
Yes, sir.
That's what it's all about.
So,
About-
out of the top 25, who's your overall dark horse for not necessarily a bid to the college football playoffs, but just to have a successful season overall?
Auburn.
I can see that. I mean, I believe in Bo Nix for sure.
One team I'm feeling that I know Webb's feeling, I like the Tar Heels. Big advocate of Sam Howell over here. I like what he's got.
Yeah. No,
let me,
he
let
is
me
good.
just
quarterback.
give you something on Sam Howell real quick.
Let's hear it, Webb.
He played in 2 less games than Trevor Lawrence and had virtually the same stats. He had more touchdown passes, less interceptions, a few less yards, but he had more touchdowns, less interceptions, 2 less games. Watch out for this guy. Watch out for him.
Yeah, I mean, you do have to look at the fact Trevor Lawrence definitely had a down year, but
Well,
I mean,
not really, but
I mean,
still.
for like what we saw his freshman year and the potential.
Also, I'm gonna give one more surprise dark horse team. because,
Uh-oh.
You North Carolina already been said. Again, I already talked about him. Wait for it. Wait for it.
Minnesota.
The California Golden Bears. You gotta watch
yeah, I
out
was
for him.
waiting for
You
that.
gotta watch out for him. You gotta watch out for him. That's all I'm gonna say about that.
Are y'all
That's a
buying?
respectable call.
Are y'all buying the Texas A&M hype?
No.
No.
I think
Every single
always
year.
brought up every single year.
Well, their schedule
very
is a lot
similar to
easier
my-
this year.
It's very similar to my New York Mets take. Every single year, they're predicted to finish amazing, and every year,
Webb
they
really,
suck.
really won't let that one go.
Nope.
Well,
It's
the wrong-
ingrained
the
in
wrong
the brain,
statement, Trey.
right there in the
Um,
prefrontal cortex. It's not leaving.
I think Texas A&M, they've always been a pretty solid ball club. They got a great coach over there. But I feel like the team's one problem is Kellen Mond. I don't think he's that good of a quarterback, and I definitely don't think he can succeed in the SEC, especially the SEC West.
I think the A&M, I actually think they'll be better than last year. I'm not saying that they're going to be a better team than last year, but record is going to be better for sure. Last year, they had maybe the hardest schedule I've ever seen.
Yeah, they really did.
Or it was either last year or 2 years ago, but they played Clemson, Georgia, Alabama, LSU, Auburn, Florida.
Ole Miss.
Yeah, because their two SEC East games were Florida and Georgia, which is not good.
They had a tough schedule, and then they had to play Clemson. I think it was in Clemson.
Yeah, well, they played them 2 years in a row. They played them 2 years in a row.
Last year, Auburn had the ridiculously hard schedule with Oregon, Florida,
Yeah.
Georgia, Bama, Ole Miss.
Yeah,
Ole Miss.
Ole Miss.
Ole Miss playing ball games.
So let's talk about some All-Americans. So I filled out a whole 2020 college football All-America team. I didn't expect anybody else to, but I mean, across the board, can we all agree quarterback Trevor Lawrence?
Yes.
Or it could be Jack Abraham from Southern Miss, but probably Trevor Lawrence. Yeah.
So I did 2 running backs. I went in alphabetical, but my first running back is Travis Etienne from Clemson.
Agreed.
And then my second running back is Chuba Hubbard from Oklahoma State.
Whoa.
Agreed.
Whoa.
Oh, who's better than Chuba?
I'm saying kick Travis out.
What?
For who?
What?
Najee Harris. That man.
What?
Oh, come on now. This guy, Travis
Najee
Etienne.
has underperformed based on how highly touted that man is.
Travis Etienne has. I mean, we're kind of waiting for Najee Harris to explode, but Travis Etienne has exploded these past 2 years.
That's a great point, Trey.
But the last 2 years.
Last year he had 1,600 yards and 19 touchdowns. Plus,
But
he's
it's only going to get better.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Maybe.
and with T. Higgins gone, the dude's going to see more production catching the ball out of the backfield.
Yeah.
I think you can't sleep on Najee.
But he's been like
No,
the
for sure.
back.
I agree, but
They're just more of a passing team now, to where he's gonna be less of a factor than Chuba Hubbard is.
oh, and yeah, let's talk about that real quick. So, who is your Alabama starting quarterback? Is it Mac Jones or is it the freshman?
I think to start the year it's Mac Jones, but I think Bryce Young at some point is gonna take over.
Yeah, I think it's the Mississippi State argument again. Got to go age, then you can go Bryce Young.
Exactly.
But
John Watt.
I'm very excited for Bryce Young. I want to see how well he does.
Me too. John Watt making some great points here today. Quick shout out there.
I just start laughing every time I think about that Nick Saban interview after the Louisville game last year, and it was either last year or 2 years ago. No, it was 2 years ago. That's right.
Yeah,
But
it was about
yeah,
right?
yeah, it was 2 years ago because the reporter said, "So Nick, great game. So have you decided who the starting quarterback is?" And he was just basically like, Did you watch the game? Like, Tua Tagovailoa is the starting quarterback. I don't know why you keep asking, but quit asking. Tua is the starting quarterback. It was hilarious. I love just watching Nick Saban get mad. It's hilarious.
Yeah, he's a pretty grouchy guy.
I love his willingness to really kind of stick it to reporters. Because,
yeah.
Like I've seen you got a lot of coaches and you got a lot of players who really have to dance on the line. You know, they really got to conform to a certain politeness, I guess you would call it.
Yeah, he doesn't really do that.
Some reporters ask some stupid questions.
But also sometimes he just goes off on people for not because he doesn't want to answer a question that could be a good question. I think because sometimes, some people ask him dumb things and you're like, I'm Nick Saban, I don't have to take that crap. But then sometimes people like ask him genuine questions where he's like, I'm Nick Saban, I don't have to do that if I don't want to do that. I just think there's a fine line he has to choose there, I think.
Wait, not to switch gears and not to take over the podcast, but
Go for it.
Speaking of great interviews, 20 years ago, we're not talking about practice.
We're not talking about practice.
That's a classic.
That's a
I
classic.
mean, Webb, do you have six national
repeatedly
championships?
taken out of context, but we're not talking about practice.
I'm sorry, Brett. What did you just say?
Do you have 6 national championships?
I mean, no, I don't. But I'm 17 years old, so it wouldn't make much sense for me to be coaching a bunch of 20-year-old players in college football. Or whatever.
Well, I mean, you just got to look at it. Nick has his ideologies, and Nick does what he does, and they work. So,
wow, you must be a Bama fan.
I mean, some coaches play the ball differently. I mean, you see Ed Orgeron over there. No one knows what he says in his interviews, but it works.
Go Tigers!
I will say, I'm curious as to what y'all think of this, but what do y'all think of Lane Kiffin at Ole Miss? Do y'all believe in the Lane train?
You know what?
That is a great hire for Ole Miss.
You can go ahead and tell him I said this. I think he's great. I think he's a great man. I think he's a really good coach. I think he's certainly evolved from. He's kind of young and immature early in his career at Tennessee and USC. He's the first to admit that. I've heard interviews, but I mean, he's definitely he knows what he's doing now. He's a good guy. I heard him on Colin Cowherd. Sounds like he's excited to get down to Oxford. So,
He's already there.
I'm excited to see. Well, no, he's in California, I think. Or John Watt can tell us.
I'm pretty sure I saw videos of him landing in Oxford.
Well, yeah, but that was when he first signed the contract, right?
Dude, he kissed a baby. It's crazy.
John Watt, can you tell us where Lane Kiffin is right now?
Looks like he can't.
I actually don't know.
He doesn't know. We don't know. So we don't know.
I think Lane Kiffin, it's a great hire for Ole Miss. I feel like he'll get the recruiting up there. I'm not saying they'll put him back on the map like back when they were winning 10, 11 games, but definitely see some resurgence. That's the word from Ole Miss this season and the next.
I don't know about this year.
Guys returning. We got Elijah Moore, who he's shot through, I'd say.
Who Elijah Moore may or may not have done something foolish.
That was an interesting decision.
Sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do, though, to get the point across. Sometimes you just gotta go for it.
I'm not gonna say he's the reason why they lost the game.
I don't care to comment.
But
John Watt, of course, doesn't care to comment. But
there
that's
probably was some running that ensued after that.
Yeah, so I don't think Ole Miss immediately bounces back, but I think within a few years, for me to have the job in Oxford or Starkville means to make everybody happy, you need to win 6 ball games and win the Egg Bowl, and everyone's happy. So if he can do that, everyone's going to be happy.
I don't know. I think we got it this year with the Egg Bowl. It's one of the most anticipated games of the year. You got 2 new coaches, 2 fired-up coaches who have very differing personalities.
Very differing person.
Very, very, very
and
different.
I think it could be interesting.
Mike Leach is a very strange man.
The thing we tweeted was very questionable.
Mike Leach's Twitter is a comedy routine.
Dude, he makes some analogies where I'm like, what are you doing? He's like, when he was with Washington State, he did some press conference where he was going through every single team in the Pac. He was like, well, you got Washington, they're kind of like the Lions. We're kind of like Tigers. You got Stanford, they're kind of like some big old bad owls or something. He goes through every single team. And I'm like, what are you doing, man?
I am super eager for him to do another mascot tournament. Have you ever seen that interview?
No.
I forgot who he says come out on top, but somebody asked him, who has the best mascot in the Pac-12, and he goes, well, we're the Cougars, and I think the Cougar can beat a Trojan, but, I think the Duck's gone immediately, and the Huskies they're not going to last very long, and you got the Devil. Does he have the bifurcated tail and the pitchfork? The Bruins bear. Bruins bear. What is a ute? Is he on horseback? Is he?
Yeah, what is a ute? I don't know what a ute is.
Dude, it's a ute.
I think it's just like a native of Utah. I think that's like all it means.
I thought it was like a certain Native American.
But so my favorite Lane Kiffin story is when he was the head coach of the Raiders.
He was.
Yeah, so he was the head coach of the Raiders, and it was the 2007 draft, or it may have been the 2008 draft, one of the two. But so he told Al Davis, they had the number 1 pick, and he told Al Davis, if we choose Jamarcus Russell, I quit, because he wanted Calvin Johnson from Megatron, of course, and so he was begging Al Davis to take Calvin Johnson, and they took Jamarcus Russell, and he left his letter of resignation on his desk at 5 a.m, packed his stuff up, and left.
That is baller moves right there.
I mean,
and he was right. He was right.
And
I love the culture he's brought to Ole Miss.
And
I honestly do.
if they would have made that pick, Calvin Johnson might still be playing football today because he quit because he plays for the Lions.
That's true.
So have we done our official champion, or just a quick little run through of who we think's going to win our?
All right. How about a champion? How about a NCAA champion and a Heisman pick?
Oh,
well, I'm gonna run through the Power 5 real quick. So, my SEC champion is the LSU Tigers. Runner up, Florida Gators. My Pac-12 champion, Utah Utes. Runner up, Oregon Ducks. My ACC champion is Clemson Tigers. Runner up, North Carolina Tar Heels. Big 12, Oklahoma Sooners. Runner up, Oklahoma State Cowboys. And that's a wrap.
you didn't do Big Ten.
Oh, my bad. Big Ten, obviously, Ohio State going to win, and runner-up Minnesota.
Yeah. I think the Big 12 is going to end up being Texas and Oklahoma, with Oklahoma still winning. I'm excited for Spencer Rattler. I think he's going to be a great quarterback. I think he's probably going to win the Heisman in a few years, but
oh, that's a bold claim.
I can see it. Not this year, obviously, but I can see it in the future.
and not this year. Later on, I think it's going to start turning into a he and Bo Nix shootout for Heisman once they're both older and Justin Fields is gone and Trevor Lawrence is
I
gone.
guess it'll have to be next year. They're probably going to both want to go to the draft.
For sure, dog. ACC, Clemson versus North Carolina. Clemson takes the W. I think they'll be the number 1 at the end of the season. Big 12, Oklahoma State versus Oklahoma. I took Oklahoma State. A little hot take right there.
Oh, my.
I just don't think Texas is back. Don't think Texas is back.
Texas is not back.
They're taking Oklahoma State over Oklahoma.
I think that'll be a dogfight, but neither team will make the college football playoff. Big Ten, Minnesota versus Ohio State. Ohio State will take the W and will make the college football playoff. Pac-12, I'm around where Webb's at. I like Arizona State versus Cal in that game. I think Cal is going to squeak by, but I feel like both teams are going to go 8-4. Neither team makes an important bowl game. SEC, Alabama versus Florida. Alabama takes Dan Mullen down. Florida makes a New Year's 6. Alabama makes it to the college football playoffs.
Hot take, I wouldn't be surprised if it's Alabama, Georgia, or Auburn, Georgia. I think the SEC championship will be Auburn, Georgia, and Georgia wins it.
Oh, my. So, repeat of
That's a
2017?
hot take.
2017 repeat?
Miracle of Jordan Hare.
Yeah. Julie.
So like John said, the Heisman and the national champion. I think it's hard to deny Trevor Lawrence for the Heisman, man. The dude is just a generational type passer.
Yeah.
He's a leader, and so I'm gonna go with Trevor Lawrence, Clemson for sure. And my national champion, hot take, and it's not who you think it is. I'm gonna take Ohio State. I think
that's realistic.
Ohio State is unreal, man. They're like overshadowed by other teams, but they are honestly the dynasty, have been the dynasty for the past 15 years.
Alabama?
Ohio State.
Are you?
Trey, I think you might be drunk.
Are you on
Like-
pills?
Like when have they
Alabama
when have they ever had a down year? Ever.
Up until
Besides when they got suspended. That doesn't count.
then, I mean, they weren't crazy though.
Are
Like,
you
they
kidding
had-
me? They've always been insane, dude.
I mean, but I feel like in the past 5 years they've been consistently dominant. But
They're overshadowed. Ohio State's going to win the national championship. We are calling it May 7th, 2020.
I don't agree. I feel like Clemson will win the Natty.
Like
Trevor Lawrence will
I'm
have
just
a
not
ridiculous season.
not a fan of the popular opinion. I'm not a fan of them.
Trey, I'm not a fan of Clemson either.
Yeah, he's an Alabama fan.
Okay, I
But
got a question.
they're the best team in the country.
It doesn't
I
mean
forgot.
they're going to win.
Is Georgia getting Elijah Holyfield back?
I
Or has
don't
he
know.
been gone?
I have no idea.
I thought, wait, didn't he declare?
I
I
don't
don't think he got.
Oh, no.
I don't think he got drafted.
No. I don't know.
What's
I don't
up,
I don't
Bobby?
have I don't have a strong opinion on this matter.
I don't either. But
Okay, he's gone. He's gone.
He
but
plays for the Eagles.
yeah, I think if Georgia's got a good running back, they're my sleeper pick to win it.
Whoa.
To the national championship?
The national championship.
Oh my
John,
god.
that's just blasphemous.
But I think realistically,
Coming in hot.
probably Clemson.
That was a hot
There
take.
you go,
I've ever
there you
seen
go.
one.
He knew that was a generous pick there, and he went back to Clemson. Smart guy.
Heisman, I feel like it's a unanimous Trevor Lawrence, but I feel like next possible candidate is do you say Chuba or Chuba?
Chuba.
Chuba. I mean, he's a dog.
He is a dog.
And I'd watch out.
Ooh.
I'd watch
Yeah.
out for John Rice Plumlee, Heisman, of course.
I mean,
You
you could just
know.
convert John Rice Plumlee to a slot Taysom Hill type guy.
He could do it. If a guy could do that in college football, I'd go with him. He's an athlete, man. He's an athlete. You watch
He
out
really
for him.
is, though.
But he's not my Heisman pick. Other joke is Trevor Lawrence. Sorry.
I think a sleeper Heisman pick is maybe Jamie Newman.
Mhm.
I don't know. It could be a whole new offense for him. He's got good players around him. It's possible. Still going Trevor Lawrence, but I wouldn't be surprised if he has an incredible season.
Yeah, and
I'm
I
gonna
think
disregard your comment.
I think Sam Howell is a dark. I think Sam Howell is a dark horse Heisman candidate as well from North Carolina State. North Carolina. Gosh.
All right, so we've crammed in a lot of hot takes in the past 57 minutes. Thought this was a great episode, boys, and I'm excited to get back into college football soon. So we're closing out at episode 5 of Real Ball Talk with our guest John Watt, manager of Ole Miss football. We're so glad you joined us, John, and
Thank y'all for having me.
we will catch y'all later. Deuces.